Scandi, and welcome to another edition of Ljubljana Talks here at IBTM 2024. And with Goras we have another great guest, Katarina Thorstensson from Gothenburg and Company. You are representing a destination that
Correct.
is an amazing destination. We are connected on many levels, which we will touch upon. But of course, there is one topic that you yourself and Gothenburg represent so successfully, and that's sustainability. How do you feel about sustainability and organizing sustainable events and sustainability within the meetings industry as such?
First of all, thank you for inviting me to this talk, and I'm really happy that you connect our destination as a sustainable destination. And concerning sustainability in events and why you should organize sustainable events, I actually can't find any reason not to. If you are to be a trustworthy event owner or event organizer. So there are every reason in the world to organize sustainable and regenerative events. Or can you find any reason not to?
Well, there is, the greenwashing aspect of it.
Of course.
How does that make you feel?
That's actually a huge problem, of course, for the topic. But then again, also all the leaders, the leading companies, leading organizers that actually dare do something brave, they get so scrutinized, and those that doesn't do anything, you don't look at them at all. So it's always a balance to actually see what is behind. You have to look into and sometimes really deep dive and see what are they talking about and what are they actually doing and what are they not doing. But greenwashing, no. We don't like that. We don't like that, but it's really hard.
Plus, we have legislation now which is controlling that, so we need to follow also that, actually.
That's going to be interesting to see.
There is no excuse
There is
anymore,
no excuse, no.
Yeah. Well, Göteborg for me is a kind of, always combination of innovation, creativity, and sustainability. This comes to my mind when I'm thinking about your place. Well, innovations, creativity you need for innovations, and innovations you need for sustainability, and this circle goes around and around. Can you comment this about Göteborg,
Yeah, from my perspective, I see actually sustainability as a driving force or ignition for innovation and creativity, because if you use sustainability to identify challenges or opportunities, that opens doors and it opens your mind and you get creative and you innovate. So to me, that is the exciting thing about sustainability, I think. You can use it as a business developer.
Cool. By mathematics, we can measure personal footprint, we can measure companies' footprint, or we can measure product footprint of this trade show, for example.
Yeah.
But can we measure destination footprint? This is a strange question, but I'm thinking a lot about it. Is it possible to measure how good destination is? Of course, we will touch GDS-Index and your great results on that, but mathematics is on the side of these measurements. Yeah.
I mean, that is a $10,000 question. We are trying to find good ways to measure a destination. If we are talking about the climate footprint, it is really complex, and we need to get the data. How do our guests travel? How many are they? How long do they stay? And so on and so forth. And we don't have that data today. So the simple question is no, we can't do it. But it shouldn't stop us from not doing things just because we don't have the data, because we know what actions we need to take and we know what things that creates the worst footprint, but we can also do good things. And I would like to comment on that, because when when I talk about, or we talk about sustainability and regeneration, it is a holistic perspective. So it's not only the environmental perspective or the economic perspective, it is also the social one, and how you can use the events and tourism to actually do good in a wider, like in society.
So to leave the destination better than it was before.
Exactly.
The event.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about what you just kind of touched upon, it opens up a question that we know that we can do good. We think we are doing good, but we don't really know because we don't have the data. And to be able to make a case out of it, we would have to have data, but we don't have data, so we don't have a proper argument to do it. Isn't it strange that we're still having a conversation that data is not available?
It is strange. I am so frustrated about it.
Okay.
Honestly. So yeah, it is strange. We should have it in one way or the other. But then again, it is sometimes it has to be enough with proxy data sometimes. We can't believe that we should have the correct figures on the decimal, because we won't, and it doesn't actually matter. I say we could have figures and metrics that are good enough to actually show our case, I believe.
Okay, approximation.
Yeah.
So if we take approximation, and we know we have the SRSS legislation, and we know we have metrics to measure the economic impacts. So what is kind of missing out a little bit is the impact, the societal aspect a little bit. But we could kind of extrapolate that and create a triangulate in a way with two already given factors. Why are we not doing it?
That's a good question. That is a really good question, which I don't have an answer for. So something we should do together to find collaborate around how could we actually show the good sides and the bad sides. But we have a feeling about it, don't we?
Do you? Exactly, we have a feeling, but it's a problem to talk because
I agree.
we go to the politicians and we say we have a feeling, and then they go, great, we'll build something
totally
instead.
Agree. I totally agree.
So the conversation, is something that has been on the table.
Mm-hmm.
We all think sustainability is no longer a new thing on the block; it's a part of our lives, and so because your role was one of the first sustainability management roles, or head of sustainability in a DMO, what does your day look like?
I have like 365 different agendas in a year. So right now I'm here at IBTM representing Gothenburg and also supporting my colleagues. And supporting my colleagues is one of the main things that I do. And then when I get back home, it's the reporting period of the year. So we're starting to sort of gathering our stories and our numbers and putting them together. And so it's quite, every day is more or less different, I would say. But very much about supporting colleagues and supporting our industry and looking out in the world, representing the destination.
Can you elaborate why are Scandinavian countries so ahead of other countries in Europe in terms of sustainability? Does it have anything with Hygge in Denmark, or I don't know, the lifestyle you have? I mean, I'm thinking a lot about it. Why are you so ahead of the southern part of Europe, let's say so?
Yeah. I think it has something to do with our lifestyle and also that we have quite a lot of nature in comparison to how many we are. So it's really close. We have a connection with nature, but I'm a bit worried about it. If you're in an urban destination, I think you lose connection with nature, and that worries me. But I think it is in our lifestyle. Really.
It is, huh?
Yeah.
And if I say that I try to get your point, that what we are doing is beyond just carbon footprint. So if we do not focus on that, Then we have so-called regenerative effects,
Yeah.
which we can measure, of course. We are trying to do that in Ljubljana on several cases, and it's amazing. The regenerative part is much stronger than actually the carbon footprint itself. Really stronger by, I don't know, 10 times sometimes. So basically, we are really bad in that. This is more my comment on what you said.
Yeah.
So we need to really learn as soon as possible how to measure the regenerative effects.
Yeah.
And we need to figure out, sit down and say, okay, this is the way how to measure that. We know for the carbon footprint, but not for regenerative effects. But tell me about the associations and global associations, how good they are in that field. They are following a sustainable movement, or they're not there yet? I mean, they're just on a paper sustainable, or?
I think it varies so much, but I've been in this role for 10 years plus, and I was working with public events before that and sort of running the sustainability agenda within those. So much have happened, but we're not doing enough, and we're not doing it fast enough. I would say within the associations, comme ci, comme ça, there are some that are really, really good, and others that should shape up their act.
Katarina, you are active not only within your office, but also internationally and in different associations. Could you tell us a little bit more about your involvement in that?
One of my main international engagement is to be chairing one of the knowledge groups within the City DNA, the City Destinations Alliance Association, or I can't remember the name of it. The full name. City DNA, yeah. So I'm chairing that group of sustainability professionals around Europe, and that is really rewarding, and I do like the collaborative part, because that is also something that is one of our strengths in Gothenburg, and that we have built so much of our work on, to collaborate and engage with our stakeholders. And that is, I would say, that is the only way forward to solve the complex issues. We have to do that together. We have to lay down competition and actually collaborate around this.
In a way, we are in a situation that, in my opinion, it's actually beautiful.
Yeah.
We are trying to resolve a problem that we understand is connected with creating events in a destination. It does create certain negative aspects, but at the same time, I think everybody understands the only way we can tackle these issues is by putting our heads together and meeting and talking about it and creating events.
Yeah.
So, do you see that we are on the right path?
Yeah, I think so. And I think when we are talking about, like, the more and more of the discourse is about legacy and impact, I think you have to sort of sometimes slow down and actually think before, what is this meeting good for, and why are we doing it, and how could we sort of capture the inherent value of the meeting, not just sort of the basic values that we all know about, but how could we do more? How could we do more than an event? And also think carefully, why do we do this? And on what topics do we meet?
So why sustainability matters to you personally? Can you elaborate this? And another question is a little bit more provocative. We are in the middle of COP29, so a lot is happening there. It's in oil country. The president said that the oil is a gift from God. So the narrative is completely different than it was, I would say, in Dubai last year, not to mention some other conferences. So your personal approach towards sustainability, why, and of course comment on this COP29. This will be my last question. Yeah, so very complex and
okay.
complicated.
My personal one is that I think it's about accountability. Like, we have to see the effects of what we do and take responsibility for that. And I saw that as a destination organization, we could actually do quite a lot of things and influence other people. So that was one of my driving forces, to influence people or influence organizations. That is a true driver for me. and of course to leave the world in a better place is also, since I have kids, and this is really
About future,
about the future. But the future is now. It wasn't now 10 years ago. The future is really now, and this is so funny because I have two teenage daughters, and one of my daughters, she, now you might not see this, but she bought me a pin to sort of complete this one, and that is from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Cool.
Don't panic, and I think that is sort of speaking of COP29. We have to bear that in mind because it is really, really worrying, I must say. So don't panic, do something instead.
We can be active citizens.
Yeah,
and
and I think there are, like, leaders must step up and raise their voice on these issues, so more can hear that this is important. It's not like those sustainability trolls running around that think it is important.
Tribe of sustainability.
Yeah, the leaders must speak up.
I guess we've done a kind of a full circle with the COP thing. You know, we've gone from a possible revolution or evolution, and it really was kind of a revolutionary thing, and we've kind of come back and we are like going, you know, did we really?
But it's like the SDGs when they were developed and also decided on. It's so great to sort of develop these fantastic promises. It's so much harder to deliver. Speaking of greenwashing, it's so much harder to actually implement the actions that we need. So, yeah.
I think this conversation could be a lot longer, but we are running out of time. So we might repeat this. Perhaps by the next COP, definitely, to see where we are heading by that time.
Same time next year.
Before we finish, just a couple of short questions.
Yeah.
And if you want, you can elaborate on those.
All right.
The mountains or the sea?
Sea.
Train or plane?
And the mountains.
And the mountains, okay.
The
both,
mountains for
both.
skiing and walking,
Okay,
and the
cool.
sea for looking at and being calm or seeing the wild.
Zen moment.
Yeah.
Plane or train?
Train.
Okay. Can you elaborate this?
I don't mind going by train because then you can, like for business trips, because then you can work at the same time and you don't get disturbed. You can like...
Fire or ice?
Oh, that was a hard one. Fire.
Fire. Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I would say fire. And that's just intuition. That's just intuition. Yeah, I think it is because I'm up north and I need some fire to get going. Otherwise, it would be too cool.
Katarina, thanks a lot for being our
Thank
guest.
you.
Really, that was amazing. Ljubljana Talk. I agree, we can talk for hours, but time is limited. So thanks again.
But we have to finish off on a positive.
Absolutely positive.
Way. So keep it up, all of you out there.
Yeah.
And
don't panic.
Stand
don't
tall.
Panic.
Stand
Please
tall.
don't panic, and come back in a few moments. Thanks.
Thanks.